I want to... In the desert, a cold beer can hold 10,234 believers. I still don't really understand why they were made, and accordingly, what their exact purpose is. We were invited to the table. Hello everyone. Today is the third day of our journey through Oman. You've already seen how much we've managed to see. We've visited a perfume shop together. We've already climbed a 2-kilometer high mountain together twice. We've been to Lada, we've been to the ancient city of Nizwa, we've seen a fort, and we've seen a real, authentic market, a bazaar just like it was thousands of years ago. Today is our third day. If possible, we'll visit a mosque, the new Sultan Qaboos Mosque. We'll also visit a modern museum called Through the Ages. And we'll learn about Oman. By evening, our journey will end in the desert, where we are heading. So we're moving from the mountainous part of Oman to the desert. And then looking ahead, a little teaser, we'll be traveling along the coast, so keep following along. We're traveling. We're off through Oman. I want to show you an unusual hotel where we stayed yesterday, called Alhamra Mountain View. It really does have a mountain view, and it's not just built in a traditional style. It was a real Omani house, which they eventually decided to remodel and transform to the hotel. And it was possible to do this. This is really, really cool. It is located, well, if you can say so, in the provinces. This is a small town. There is a palm grove ahead. Everything is surrounded by greenery. Of course, we are surrounded by mountains. But come on, let me show you this hotel. If you happen to pass by, all the coordinates will be in the video. A visit to an Omani house. There's a rooftop there, from which you can, of course, look at the mountains and see traces of the past. Everything is designed to convey the atmosphere as much as possible for relaxation and a comfortable stay. So here's a room like this. Modern, with air conditioning and a large, comfortable bed. Everything you need is here. A fridge, tea, coffee. There was water in the fridge, so no difficulties or problems with humidity. I mean, I was looking for something to quench my thirst. Everything is here, please, everything you need. I have access to a balcony with the view we've already seen together. You can hear the sounds of nature, birds are flying around. So I recommend staying in small hotels where you can experience traveling in Oman in a completely different way. Friends, I hope you are enjoying the video we made for you about Oman. We tried to create an itinerary that would truly be interesting. The slogan of our journey is "Feel like an Omani." That's why we specifically chose routes that you usually won't find or see in standard videos on the internet. It's not an easy task. A huge team is working hard to make this tour possible, so it's going to be really great. If you subscribe, hit like, and even better, share this with your friends so they can also see the real Oman, a country that truly deserves to be traveled, invested in, and enjoyed. Staying in this country, so please support this tour, subscribe, hit like, and we'll keep going. So, we've reached our first stop. This is the Sultan Qaboos Mosque, a modern mosque located down below, and it's a unique time to be here. Take a look. We're here alone, there's no one else around. This is also a rare occasion when you can be here and truly feel just how beautiful and peaceful it is and appreciate the tremendous effort that went into building this very beautiful mosque. Later, we'll take a look at it from the outside. We've been given permission to film here. As always, the people of Oman are very friendly. The marble it's made from, we passed by the mountain. It's literally just 10-15 minutes away from here. People come here and the marble is actually quarried right from that mountain. And accordingly, when they built this mosque, they used that marble. So they like to use everything of their own. Everything here is natural. This mosque is just as beautiful. When you come down here, you absolutely must visit this place. This mosque should definitely be on your itinerary. We have to witness this beauty while we're admiring the beauty, this mosque. Let me share a few facts with you. The total area is 80,000 square meters, and the area where prayers are held is 277.5 square meters. At the same time, 10,234 worshippers can be accommodated here. The diameter of the central dome is 27 meters. The height is 55 meters. There are 4 minarets here. Each one is 80 meters tall. Such beauty. Which we were lucky enough to visit. We are now in a modern museum of Oman, which is called Skolgoda. You can see that here, when you come through interactive exhibits and a modern way of presenting information, you can get acquainted with the history of Oman, starting from ancient times, that is, from how, for example, meteorites fell to Earth, and then how life gradually began on Earth, and of course, everything about the history of Oman. It's a very futuristic place. There are many halls here. It's very beautiful. You definitely need to come here, see it, and get acquainted with it. So you can see that in Oman, a country that so cherishes its traditions and history, they use the most modern formats for presenting information, formats that we, as modern people, are already accustomed to. We continue our tour through the museum. Of course, you can't truly imagine Oman without its iconic boats, which were once widely used for essential travel, significant trade, and quite naturally for vital fishing. Here you can clearly see exactly how these traditional boats used to look. They were covered with leather, with skins, so that they wouldn't let water in and could float. Maybe we'll be lucky, and along our route, we'll visit a factory where boats are still made to this day. And here I want to show you another structure that is also famous throughout Oman. There are a lot of them, as you can see. These are the so-called beehive-shaped tombs. There are different stories about these tombs, and also, it's still not entirely clear why they were made or what their exact purpose was. Nevertheless, you can see that such structures exist all over Oman. And it's certainly impressive because it's an unusual kind of architecture that catches your eye and draws your attention. And of course, when you're in Oman, you'll see them not only in museums, but also as you travel around the country, you'll see this kind of thing. Doors, very beautiful, intricately carved, made of wood in all sorts of sizes and styles. It's really, really beautiful. Here on the other side, there's a door of a different type. You could even take a separate trip around Oman just to photograph how beautiful the doors are. It looks really cool. You can touch it, feel it. It's all made from solid wood, all real, all natural. These doors have been accepted by history for hundreds of years, and in this way you can see how they fully tell the story of how Oman developed and changed. You can sit down and watch a film. It's very beautiful, really cool. And now we've come to a place that every Omani knows, but visitors who come here don't know about. These are the cars that Sultan Qaboos used to travel around the country, listening to people and learning from them. He found out what problems they had, what needed to be done, and how he could help. And after that, decisions were made that allowed people to get what they lacked for their lives and for Oman to develop. And these very cars that he used to travel in have been preserved. You can see them here in the museum. And it's right here looking at these cars that you understand. Why Oman? This is a country that is developing so rapidly, a place you should visit as a tourist and where you can invest because people here love their country and do everything to help it grow. This is a legendary car. Sultan Qaboos himself used to drive this very car with this license plate, this vehicle. Now it is housed in the museum, right here at the Museum of the Future. There is information about what Oman will become. And since we're talking about real estate, since we're talking about investments, just take a look. This is one of the districts of Muscat, the capital, and this is what it will look like once the project is completed. You can see that they have the most modern architecture. They are completely keeping track of and aware of what is being built around the world, what investors need, and as always, mountains in the back, water in the front, and modern architecture. Well, this is what the architecture looks like. You've probably seen a lot of photos of this place on the internet. Unfortunately, we can't use a drone, but what we see here is impressive. Years later, the Amman Museum received an architectural award as one of the most beautiful places you can visit and see. The ceilings here are enormous. There's a lot of space, openness, and light, and it's impressive. It's very beautiful. You absolutely must visit this museum. Oman is an amazing country that impresses with its hospitality, its millennia-old history, opportunities for leisure, and of course for investment. I'm sure you've already heard that many investors are now buying real estate here. Why? Because when they invested in Europe, the United Arab Emirates, Bali, Turkey, and then came to Oman, they fall in love with this country and they fall in love with how this country is developing its economy and what opportunities it offers to investors. Oman is like Dubai was 10 years ago. Agree, it's great to enter now at the start so that your investment will give a good increase in the future, and almost all real estate is being built on the first coastal line. It is very pleasant when you can practically within walking distance from your villa or apartment, walk to the coastline and enjoy the sea. But Oman, it's not as easy as you think. In order to truly understand which locations are promising, it takes many months of work to study this country. I travel around Oman, I come here for work, I know this country, I study the cities, locations, developers, and projects in order to understand where your investments will work and where you might make a mistake. If you're interested in learning about Oman's potential as an investment destination, or if you're already planning to buy property here, call me, and together with my team, I will help you, just as we help our clients every day, choose the best projects for investment. Hello. We've been invited, of course, in true Omani hospitality. We've been invited to a summer house. It's very cool here. Of course, we were invited to the table. Assalamu alaikum. We were invited to the table so that we could eat, we could rest. And now they have prepared something delicious for us, something traditional, as I understand it. Amanshula? Yes, it's meat with rice. It's all very tasty. And now we are going to enjoy this. Friends, we are in a truly amazing place. we can see how the date harvest takes place. Take a look, here are the dates, the palm trees, all of them are covered with dates in order to harvest them, just so you understand the process. First of all, this harvest had to be grown. Yes, it ripened. Secondly, the workers got up at 5 a.m. Why did they get up at 5 a.m.? Yes, the whole family, all the workers. Why? Because it's very hot. Right now it's 46 degrees here, so of course this kind of work is done in the morning. You can see that everyone is working because this is the harvest, it's important. Yes, this is what they do, including the family. And accordingly, after the harvest, first, in order to sort the dates, you had to climb up. You had to cut off these branches. You can see how many branches there are. You can see that the truck is already fully loaded, and accordingly, that's what a branch looks like. Well, by feel, I would say it's close to 10 kilograms, that's for sure. And then after that, the good dates are separated from the bad ones, because of course there's a difference here too. Some will be discarded, some will be eaten, and some will be cooked to prepare various dishes. So, as you can see, this is how the date harvest happens live, right before your eyes. Well, I'm very impressed. I've never seen this before. It's really impressive. I mean, we have garden beds. Our harvest is a bit different. But here, there are palm trees, and here are the dates. That's the story. It's all wonderful. Guys, this is Aman. This is the real life of real people that I'm showing you, so you can see how it all really is, how it actually happens. We had some time to stop by the edge of the desert. We drove for about 30 minutes, and we came here specifically to show you an example of how you can stop in Oman and relax. You can see that this is a camp right in the desert. This camp is of premium level. Will you be staying here? In houses like these, you can see that these aren't just tents that have been set up. These are actual buildings. Accordingly, of course, all the amenities are there. So you'll have a restaurant there and you'll be able to eat outdoors. Right now, it's simply off-season here. At this particular moment, there will be buggies and ATVs available so you can ride around the desert. Because as you can see behind me, the desert is right here. It's real with these yellow and red sands, and that's where you'll be stopping. Here there is, well, here there is accordingly. And there's a place to play billiards. And you can see that if the sun isn't too bright, you can even play volleyball, at least in theory. Here you can simply spend time, have meals twice a day, and really, you can come and truly enjoy the desert. So there are wonderful places like this in Oman. Yes, it's a premium vacation, but still, you can see how amazing it is. Here we are entering the restaurant, just so you can see that everything is modern. There's plenty of space, and of course, if it's hot, you'll be here in the shade. You can see how beautiful it is, and it's clear that this is the serving area. As I already mentioned, breakfast and dinner are great and comfortable. Everything is air-conditioned. And accordingly, for those who like to have breakfast or lunch outside, everything is here for that. The views are wonderful. So welcome, welcome. And by the way, for those who care, you can see that the breakfasts here are great. Of course, the food here is naturally of the appropriate high level. And of course, if you want a cold beer in the desert, that's available here too. So everything is set up for relaxation. Yes, it's Oman, but still, everything is accessible. Everything is here. Now we have the opportunity, even though the camp is currently closed, to take a look at the coolest villa. Come on, I'll show it to you. This is a premium villa where you can stay with your family. It's comfortable here. Of course, there's air conditioning and a big, awesome bed. Everything is styled like a tent. You can see how it's done. Everything is very clean, beautiful, and tidy. You can see, of course, tea, coffee, all the standard essentials. Yes, well, here's the fridge. It's here. The bathroom is really nice. You can take a look. Naturally, everything has a mirror and meets all modern standards. Of course, all the necessary toiletries are provided. There's everything you need to dry your hair, because that's often missing in hotels. And now, the highlight of this expensive room. It's that you have your own private pool here, and not only that, but it's also enclosed, yet it still has a huge area. And you can also see that you have your own private relaxation area. Another thing is, if, for example, friends or acquaintances come to visit you while you're relaxing here, you have your own private villa where you can spend time comfortably. We're in the desert at the edge of the world, but everything here is comfortable, everything is great. This is, of course, an excellent vacation, so if you have the opportunity, though it's not a cheap pleasure, and once again, I can't stress enough that this is not an economy option. Basically, this is a luxury vacation, because you get the corresponding level of comfort and experiences. So yes, such a villa is expensive, but nevertheless, it's worth it. So if you have the opportunity, of course, come here to relax. We've arrived at another one. The camp is literally a kilometer away from where we were. This camp is called Raven Alex. You can take a look at the rooms they have here. This is not a villa. We specifically decided to check out a standard room, so you can see how you would be accommodated. Welcome, please come in. Let's take a look. As you can see, you also have plenty of space here. Everything is comfortable. This is the biggest bed we've seen so far. Yes, it's combined, but still, just look at the size. It will definitely be comfortable. Of course, there's tea, coffee, water, all of that is provided, and air conditioning, which is the most important thing. Let me remind you, we're in the desert. It took us almost 40 minutes to get here, but everything you need is here. And of course, there's a place to store your belongings. And look, even though we're in the desert, everything is so modern. Such amazing services. There's a shower and a bathtub, of course. Everything you need for a comfortable stay is here, so don't hesitate to choose a desert getaway in Oman. You can always find options that are just right for you and get the most enjoyment out of your vacation. I'm going to make this reel right now and upload it, and in 30 seconds it will already be up in my status. Invest in a country that offers every opportunity, both for relaxation and for doing business, because this country does everything to make your money work and bring you profit. Friends, my team and I have been helping you buy real estate in Oman for a long time. We know everything about this country. But when it comes to the United Arab Emirates, and you want to buy not just square meters, but a real solution for life and for business, I recommend contacting my partners. This is a real estate agency, 2088 Rio Estate. The head of this agency is Konstantin Ljutovic. His team knows all the metrics, constantly keeps up with trends, understands which launches are relevant and where you can make a profit. They analyze the market, analyze traffic, especially when it comes to commercial real estate. In short, these guys know their business and help you find great solutions. And I also recommend subscribing to Konstantin's Telegram channel now. He has been living in the United Arab Emirates for 15 years and gives great advice on how to do business and live in this country. And so the third day of our journey through Oman has come to an end. Yesterday, we finished it in the Great Omani Canyon. There was a 2-kilometer drop beneath us, and now we are in the desert in Oman. In fact, I would say we're somewhere at the edge of the earth, but that's not quite true. Nevertheless, this is a truly fantastic place where we are right now. What can I say about today? You've seen that Oman is diverse. If this morning we were at a modern museum of Oman, where we could see how Oman presents its history using the most advanced technologies. After that, we traveled together, took a trip, reached the desert, and accordingly checked out places where you can stay. These aren't just hotels, these are desert camps, and of a premium level at that. You've seen all of this. I was also impressed that even here and now in the desert, we have access to certain things. Excellent connectivity, and we can very quickly send any messages, go online, and check everything we need. Once again, we were convinced that the Land Cruiser Toyota, it's the best car, the best, but as the knowledgeable Bedouins say, you should go for the Prado. So for those making a choice, just know Toyota is number one, and accordingly both the Prado and Land Cruiser are great cars. Of course, there's also the Nissan Tafari, which is a great car too, so our trip was a success. We just didn't get to see the sunset in the desert, but that's not a big deal. The main thing is, we met the family you saw today, how they harvest dates. You saw the real process, that's how it happens, how they gather them and then immediately sort them. An unforgettable pleasure, that's why all of this is Oman. You see, even in just one day, you can experience a completely different Oman that will impress you. So travel around Oman, our big journey continues. Tomorrow, we'll be heading towards the water, and a completely different story, a new journey, will begin for us. But today we are here, in Oman, in the desert, in this magnificent place that you fall in love with, and it stays in your heart forever.